How is everybody doing today? And in this video, we are going to be talking about the multitude of banners that we currently have in Heaven Burns Red. And when I mean there's a crap ton of banners, holy, there's just a lot out right now. And it could definitely be overwhelming and really confusing for a lot of people to understand which characters probably have the best investment value and which banners they should stay away from. Of course, this video is going to be realistically for those that care about the investment value for these characters and not so much the favoritism that you may have. Let's say you like Yuki, you might be inclined to summon a bit on this phase 3 recruitment banner for the new outfits. I don't blame you. Yuki is my favorite character, but I will be talking about in a meta standpoint, in an investment standpoint, which characters you should probably be pulling and which banners you should be staying away from. But let's go ahead and get straight into it with this Yingxia banner that's been here for quite some time. If you haven't already pulled this Yingxia, you probably should. This Yingxia is definitely a really great character, especially because they provide a buff that we don't get for quite some time on the global server again, which is going to be the multi-hit buff. And this is a pretty big deal because for an example, if you don't know what it does, let's say you're using this Ichigo, which I've been using because I don't have many other DPSs that aren't slash, so I kind of have to invest in this one. This Ichigo, her electro triangulation blast, that's a long name, only hits for 1, and that's her most damaging move. With this move only being 1 hit worth, even if I do 200k damage and the next portion of the shield is 20k for an enemy, that 180k isn't going to overflow into the health. But with Yingxia's buff, you are going to allow it to overflow technically into the health, which could one-shot the enemy, which is a huge deal when looking at the amount of damage you're doing. Is saving time, saving turns, all that different type of stuff. Really good things for your account when it comes to the certain characters that you might be using as your DPS, because that extra hit definitely could mean the difference between life or death of your team. So this Yingxia is definitely a really strong pickup, especially because you're going to be pairing up this SS Yingxia with basically inheriting her move into the S rank Yingxia, which has all the sorts of skills that you possibly want: defense down, enhancement, and also of course that one buff that's going to allow you to get those multi-hits. So yes, Yingxia is definitely going to be a big pickup that you want to pick up for your account because it's just going to be a really good support and a buff that we're not going to get for a very long time when it comes to the multi-hit buff. There is that Maria that is on the banner that you could potentially get. This Maria is a good source of crush DPS. It does take some time for her to actually get her damage dealing, even though she is a healer, so you are getting some type of a bonus if you do end up getting her. Definitely want to just pick up the Yingxia and not necessarily go for the Maria, but the main thing, which are the brand new banners that we currently have at the moment, which are the Tama, the Wacky, and the Bungo. Right now this banner is actually pretty okay when it comes to the amount of value that you're getting for this, because it does have Tama, but sadly it does have the Wacky and the Bungo. Now if you don't mind getting these characters, then that's cool if you like those characters, but Tama is technically the MVP or the target of this banner because of what she's able to provide. This Tama is going to be giving you not only a buff for thunder, but she's also going to do her own damage as well. Plus she is able to also heal as well, so you not only have a buffer, an attacker, but also a healer in one, which is a pretty good thing. And this is even more, I guess you could say, in value when you start looking at the characters we are going to get in the future, which are going to be the Thunder Ruka, the Thunder Yuki, and also the Thunder Aoi. So technically these aren't bad investments to make when you are looking at the Tama that we have currently on banner. So if you are looking forward to pulling this Tama, it's definitely a pretty nice, I guess you say, investment value when you're looking at the characters that we are getting in the future, like the Ruka, Yuki, and also the Aoi. Now if you want to really min-max it and not pull anything that's kind of worth it over what they have in JP, in JP they currently do have this Tama, which is years away. When I mean years, it depends how they move the servers up when it comes to having them close together, but it is going to take some time before we get this Tama. And this Tama of course is going to just be every other support in the water, every other healer in the water, just because of the amount of buffs that you're able to give from this specific Tama. So realistically, if you don't mind having that gap in between getting this Tama, this electric Tama is actually not that bad and can actually score pretty well on the current JP score battles. They have showcases out, which I don't mind linking in the description if I remember. But the other two characters, not necessarily the craziest thing in the world. This Wacky is going to be a light buffer, and this Bungo is going to be a breaker. Breaker not technically used as much as many other roles, and then this light buffer, not really needed either. You're kind of really shooting for this Tama regardless, just because of all the other characters that will be coming out in the future that are thunder related, like these three here. The only difference between these two banners is going to be that the Wacky and the Bungo are rated up on this one, and the Tama alone is rated up on this one. So you do have a potential chance to pull any of the three, but you have a higher chance if you pull on Tama's banner, and you have a higher chance here if you pull on Wacky and Bungo's banner. So realistically, currently at the moment, when it comes to the priority list, Yingxia is definitely going to be the higher pickup, and then it's going to be this Tama specifically. When coming to the other banners, like this phase 3 and phase 2 new outfit recruitments, this is where it gets a little bit weird, because there are some good units in here, but not necessarily needed units. We're going to be looking at, of course, the Seika that is in the second one. There you go, in the second one. And this Seika, of course, is really, really strong, especially what she's able to provide with the skill attack bonus, the crit rate bonus, the crit damage bonus, and she also heals a little bit as well. This one's really good. Only problem is she's kind of in a banner that you don't want to summon on, just because it has this Sumomo you won't be using. She is the Thunder Breaker, but realistically, this isn't a character that is going to stay relevant for long. And this Tama here, I don't know much about her. I don't even think I have her pulled up, sadly. But this Tama is not going to beat not only this suit Tama, but also the Thunder Buffer Tama either. So you kind of don't need that Tama. And realistically, that one Sumomo, you're not going to need her as a breaker. She's not that crazy. So this cycle, although really, really good, not really worth it when it comes to summoning on this banner. And looking at the phase 3, although it hurts that I can't summon on my Yuki because I love this Yuki, the only two characters that are kind of worth it here are the Tojo and the Hiragi. The Tojo is going to be a strong fire buffer if I have her somewhere here. She is going to help the team do more fire damage, which is really great. She is more centered towards fire centered teams or fire targeted teams, which is going to help in certain score battles, and she's still used, if I'm not wrong, in the JP version as well. So she's technically a future proof unit, with the Hiragi also being a ice buffer, which could be really nice. But when it comes to the value that these characters are giving compared to what we have in the future, I do realistically think that these two are an easy skip, or they're safe to skip. Seika, if you didn't get her at the beginning of the game, realistically, you're just going to have to make do without having her on your account. And then same thing goes here. Although this Tojo is really nice, there's going to be plenty of chances that we're going to be getting another chance to pull these characters that you may want from, let's say, a future step up banner that we probably are getting as they're combining banners with JP. So specifically, when looking at the characters you should be looking for, Yingxia definitely at the #1 list. If you don't mind waiting a little bit when it comes to the suit Tama that's coming in the far future, this New Year's Tama is definitely worth it as well, especially when it comes to looking at the characters that we're getting in the future, like the Ruka, like the Yuki, and also the Aoi as well. So it's going to be really interesting to see what we're going to be getting in the future, as they are speeding up the banners a little bit. But other than that, that's pretty much it for this video. Let me know what you are looking forward to in Heaven Burns Red, and also let me know what videos you kind of want to, because I see there's not that many people posting about Heaven Burns Red in terms of guides, in terms of content. So I want to see if I can fill that gap for y'all if possible. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. See you on the next one, and peace.